Hi guys, my name is Bridget and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're having an awesome day. And today we're doing something a little bit different, something I'm hoping goes well. I'm not really sure if I'm the best at explaining things in the world, you know? But today I am going to be talking about horror movies while I do my face. I did the top eyeshadow and eyelashes and eyebrows already just so I look like a human when I start the video, but I still do my foundation, blush, highlight, all that good jazz. So today we're going to talk about Don't Breathe and Don't Breathe 2. Don't Breathe, the original one, came out in 2017. I saw it in theaters and I just rewatched it to refresh myself, and I just watched Don't Breathe 2 last night. So I'm going to talk about the story. Of course, a spoiler alert, but the first movie's been out for so long, like if you haven't seen it by now, it's okay to get spoilers. And quite frankly, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you the second one is worth skipping, so, you know, spoiler alert for that one too. I'm gonna do my best to talk about it. I'm just gonna talk to you guys like I'm talking to a friend explaining the movie to them, and we're gonna see how this goes. So without any further ado, let's get started. So I know people have done this type of video before where they talk about movies and do their makeup and stuff. Nobody owns a category, so there's that. Also, thank you Shane Dawson for the recommendation on doing horror content. I have been reviewing horror movies here and there on my TikTok, but I'm not very good at the TikTok, so I figured my main channel would be a good place to talk about it since I love horror movies and movies in general, and maybe sometimes I'll talk about documentaries too, because there's some documentaries out there I need to vent about. So yeah, and because the movie is copyrighted, I won't be inserting clips, but think about me as like you're doing my face podcast where you can still listen to the story without seeing it. So let's do my face now. Also, I know the lighting in here is weird. I didn't expect today to work against me in every way possible because I was supposed to do this morning and there was like people blowing leaves around outside, and now it's like thunder and lightning, so I had to add a fake light behind me. So let's talk about Don't Breathe, the original one. Like that picture. So Don't Breathe, the original one, came out in 2017, and it just starts off as like, oh my gosh, this old guy, his daughter got killed by a drunk rich driver and he got paid off. Let's go rob him. So there's like 3 teens, they go rob this old guy for his money, and they make the note to say he's an army veteran, so you know, you already get the sense that, oh, maybe if they said that, it's because he's tough. But they break into his house. Well, also, okay, let's talk about before we talk about what the storyline goes like. I don't like the synopsis of the movie. So clearly I hadn't watched it before, so when we went to go watch the first one, I went to go watch it over again. It made it seem like the girl in this movie is so innocent. This young girl gets trapped up in this bad situation. She's just as guilty as the men in that story. I hate when films make it seem like just because someone's a woman makes them innocent. That is not true. Women are just as bad. I don't care if you're robbing someone for the right reasons, because, you know, you're in a bad spot. You're still robbing somebody. You're just as guilty as the other people doing it. Anyways, 3 teens break into this old dude's house. He's blind, okay? He lives by himself in kind of like a bad part of town, and they know he has money in the house, at least 300 grand. So they break into his house. You know, they try to like make him fall asleep, try to like gas him to stay asleep, like night time for you, sir, but it doesn't work. So he walks out there wondering what's going on, thinks there's only one person in the house when he catches someone in the house, blind dude does, and he shoots him with his own gun. So his name was Money. Money dead, y'all. Money is dead. And there's 2 other people in the house. There's the girl and a younger guy. So I believe they're at least like 18 though, because they be driving cars and stuff. But Money's dead. And since Money was like, no, I'm the only one in the house, the blind guy thought he was the only one there. He shoots him and, you know, drops his body on the ground. But then he smells that the other people took their shoes off to not make noise when they came in the house. So he finds their shoes, smells them, and confirms that there's more people in the house, 2 other people in the house. So now that he knows there's 2 other perpetrators in his house, old guy goes on a rampage to attack him, alright? Like, he's defending his property, his money, everything. His daughter got killed. He earned that money, you know, from the whatever. So I'm on his side at this point, you know. I'm on like old dude's side. I'm like, yeah, f them kids up. They shut me in your house. Someone breaks into your property. You have every right to attack them if you want to. They're here stealing you. Money had attacked you with a gun, so yeah. So he goes on there, he starts hunting the kids down, blah, blah, blah. One thing leads to another. Mostly it's just a hunting sequence for most of the scene, or most of the movie, actually. Eventually, what it goes down to is he catches the kids in the basement. I'm just gonna call them kids, even though I'm pretty sure they're adults. And what they find in the basement is the girl who killed his daughter from the hit and run, the reason he has money, in the basement tied up. They want to set her free, but he's still hunting them down. And eventually he tries to break in and starts shooting and kills his kidnapped victim, the one who killed his daughter in a wreck. This is where the movie takes like a, oh no, turn for me. Up until that point, I'm on his side. I'm like, yeah, man, kill these people in your house. Defend your honor. You don't deserve this. You're living on your own to mind your business. This is where this takes a turn. So after he kidnaps someone who killed his daughter, we find out that he's upset when he accidentally shoots her. And at first you're like, oh, it's because he wants vengeance. Of course he wants, to take the kill for himself. He doesn't want to, like, oh, accidentally kill her. He wants her to suffer. That's what I thought at first. Turns out this kidnapped victim was pregnant with his child. And you say, why? You're like, ew, he's a kidnapped victim. You think he hates her. So he catches after he kills that one, he catches the girl that broke into the house, right? Remember, there's 2 left. He catches the girl. He ties her up in the spot where the other girl was and wants to turkey baste her so that he can replace the child that, got killed. And then the replacement child they killed, by accidentally shooting the kidnapped victim. I don't know if I'm doing a very good job explaining this, but he's trying to turkey baste people into giving him a child, and that is disgusting. Like, it's disgusting. I can't. Okay, he makes these, like, funny, like, little one-liners, too. When he pulls the turkey baster out of the fridge, right? Full of, she's like, what are you doing? Stop. He's like, I'm not a racist. So, okay, I don't know if I can explain this properly, and I'm probably going to cancel for saying this, but is somehow getting impregnated with a turkey baster worse? Is that somehow worse? Because there's something about that just doesn't even seem... I mean, both are terrible, both are horrible, both are disgusting. But I don't know, there's something about the turkey baster thing that's really freaking gross. So he tries to do that. The other kid who is still in the house sets her free, yada yada yada. The other kid dies, and eventually the girl gets free. And, the old guy's all beat up and stuff. He goes to the hospital, but he survives, but the girl gets away. Ta-da! Don't Breathe 1. Honestly, it's just a movie of like, oh, is he gonna get him? Oh my god, is he gonna survive this attack from the old guy? Oh my god, is the old guy gonna survive the attack? Blah, 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 blah. It's basically just a hide-and-seek movie at that point, until it comes to the kidnapped victim, turkey-basted victim to replace his child that he lost. Gross. Also, they find $2 million in the safe in the house, when he's supposed to have $300,000. No one ever explains why he has more money than he's supposed to have in the safe from that settlement. No one ever explains that, but the girl gets away with the money. We assume she took her sister to a better life, who was like, because they were in a bad family situation. Don't Breathe. There's the movie for you. It was fine. Like, it was okay movie. It was never like anything spectacular, but Don't Breathe 2 comes out, and you're thinking like, you watch the trailer, because we saw the trailer in theaters because we get that movie membership, so we're always going to the movies. You see the second trailer for the second one, you're like, oh, he's a child. How did he get a child? And you don't know how they're connected. Don't Breathe 2 is a whole hot mess, and I took notes last night, so let's look at them. So Don't Breathe 2 starts out with a child, and already off the bat, you're like, ugh, how do you get this child? So in the beginning, the child's like training for survival. She calls him dad, like the old dude. She calls him dad. So we're like, okay, he has a child now. That must have been some turkey-based and bullshit that he did. And, of course, that's the first thing you assume. So you're already like, oh my god, this poor child. But he's training him for survival, using their pet dog to, like, train her to, like, how to run fast and get away from situations and survive. Which survival is a great thing to teach your children. I'm all for that, except the fact that how he get this kid, Anyways, after that, she has like this weird, she goes like with this friend who is a ranger who sells them plants apparently for their greenhouse. She goes with them to the site of their old house, which got burned down. So you're like, oh no, there's a fire. Is that where their mom died? That's what he alludes to. And we see in the old burned down house that the ranger friend takes the girl to a memorial to the kid's mom. So you're like, oh no, maybe he had a wife at some point. And that didn't go down very well. She burnt up. That sounded aggressive. Okay, but anyways, the ranger friend runs into this creepy guy who checks out the little girl in like a bathroom, sees that she has one gray streak of hair, and is like trying to intimidate her and stuff, but it doesn't go very well. The girl has the dog to protect her. They go back in the car with the ranger friend who brings her back to her dad. The ranger friend sees the creepy guy from the van on their road who had followed them, and she's just instantly murdered in the face. For some reason, they made a weird point to point out that she was a ranger and a veteran, and then they just murdered her, and they made a strange fact to point out that the strange creepy guys in the vans were also in the military but dishonorably discharged. So I don't know why they made the point to say that any of these people were military at all. Like, it seems like a weird point to add if you're just gonna murder the girl right off the bat. I don't know what that's about, but that's what happened. Like, they just brought up like, yeah, I was in the military, Iraq, and then they're like, yeah, I was dishonorably discharged. I was dishonorably discharged. And then they just murder her face. So I'm not really sure what that was about. But then they go back to the house. And obviously those guys break into the house looking for the girl with the little gray streak of hair. And the old man wanders out of the house to find the dog because the dog isn't responding to like the food calls. And he finds the dead dog outside with a bullet hole in him. He takes, since he's blind, he takes his fingers and he pulls a bullet out of the dog. He's like, oh no, something's going on. He rushes back to the house where the little girl is hiding and being kidnapped from these strangers in a van who also just happened to be organ stealers, organ snatchers, because that was a weird point to just have a flash on the screen of like local organs stolen. It was odd, okay? And we're just supposed to assume because the guy had a cooler in the back of his truck that he's the one stealing organs. So you're thinking this child's organs are about to get taken, and that sounds like a fine twist at first. However, it just doesn't really go much. Okay, so they try to kidnap the kid, and of course the old guy isn't having it. He starts attacking them. He super glues, and he killed tons of people the first movie. He killed people the first movie, and he's now defending his daughter that he calls the daughter, and he decides to super glue someone's nostrils and mouth closed instead of killing them, even though they're trying to kill him. Why he went the super glue route, I feel like was just a way to put a creative kill into the movie, and then one of the other henchmen, because there's like 3 or 4 guys, comes and stabs a hole through the guy's cheek so he could breathe because he was suffocating. And that was the end of like that scene. So randomly he just got stabbed through the cheek to breathe again, and he decided super glue was the best option. The kid's still running from them. The old man yells at her to go into the safe box. So he has like a small storage thing in the basement, like a small storage box. She locks herself inside. There's a grate at top so she breathes, because I was wondering at first how's she gonna be breathing in there. And honestly, that just ends really quickly, and because the bad guy starts putting water into the tank to try to flush the girl out, which is very smart, very creative. And then he threatens to put a live electrical wire inside the box to fry the child if the old man doesn't stop attacking him. So one thing leads to another. The old guy stops the electrocution of the child, and the bad guy who started that whole thing is fried himself. It's a big fight scene, but you know, nothing that creative, and you know, one thing leads to another. Even though the guy's blind, he knows how to yank a wire from the random wire on the ground, knows it's the live wire that's going inside the water flooding the box. I don't really know how that adds up, but it's what happens, and the guy fries. So there's like I think there's like 2 or 3 guys left at this point attacking the old man and the kid. And eventually the kid and the old man head down, since they were in the basement from the fire where all the water and the live wire happened. They take a little route to like come up in their greenhouse, where we discover that the old man kidnapped the child. The old man is not the actual father. He kidnapped him from the bad henchman man, because the bad henchman man had a fire at his house that killed his wife, and that was actually her mother So the old man had kidnapped this child, took him from the henchman, and the henchman now decided he was going to take her back. So now that we know she was kidnapped, you're kind of on the team of the henchman guy. You're like, oh no, his child was stolen. That's terrible. He should definitely get her back. This old man's a piece of shit. And, well, he is, of course. We know he's turkey-based people. Whole time I'm like, I can't root for this dude. He's defending this child, but we know it's a turkey-based child, so. Now we know, oh, hey, we can probably root for the henchman guy. Until, no. First of all, he killed a dog. He killed their dog. I can't stand behind that. Puppies are innocent. Even if puppies attack you, Puppy was told to do that. Puppy's doing his job, okay? So on Puppy's side. And then he has a puppy of his own, and he goes send it in the house to go get them because he can't catch up to them. And the puppy gets stuck in the attic. The old man doesn't want to kill the dog because he loves dogs, which is very nice and the only redeeming quality about this old man. And, you know, Puppy's stuck. The henchman guy, who is the dad, apparently, decides to set the house on fire. And then one of the henchmen's like, hey, your dog's in there, don't do that. And he doesn't care. He sets the house on fire anyways with his dog inside. The old man goes upstairs, set the dogs free. He forgives them for attacking him. And the child is whisked away to the dad's home, the real dad's home. Now, the real dad's home is in a really bad building. It looks gross. But, you know, that's her real parents. It is what it is. You know, they're supposed to be with him. So she asks if she can leave. He's like, yeah, you're not a prisoner. And she decides she wants to leave. But before she gets to the door, she encounters her real mother. And, of course, that lures her back in. She's a child. She wants her mom. That makes sense. Turns out mom is dying because her lungs were burned from the inside out from the explosion in the house. And the house caught on fire. It's because they were cooking meth. They had a cook in the basement, and it was meth, and all the chemicals from that mixed with the fire and explosion burned her organs inside out. Don't do drugs, kids. This is your PSA. So we find out the mom's dying. And straight off the bat, this twist of theirs wasn't very good, because if my man can predict a horror movie, my darling, sweet, innocent husband can predict a horror movie, you're not doing your job with the twists enough. So we're introduced to the mom out of nowhere, and, you know, she's dying. And the next thing leads to another, because we know these are organ transplant people. They want to take the kid's heart out. So they didn't give this kid a choice. They didn't ask her, hey, do you want to, like, donate your heart to your mom? None of that. They just, like, strap her down with some random surgeon in a back alley and decide they're going to take her heart out and give it to the mom because they need, like, a perfect match or whatever. Can a 10-year-old or, like, 12-year-old's heart match a full-size human? They're still humans. Full-size adult? I don't know. I'm not a scientist. But to me, it's kind of terrible that you're willing to take your child who was kidnapped from you and kill her so you can make more meth. Because the henchmen were like, we can't lose her. She's our cook. I've seen Breaking Bad. Anyone can learn how to cook meth. I don't suggest doing that, of course, but I'm just saying that's the reason they wanted her heart and wanted this woman to live, the mom to live so bad. So, since the dog was saved from the old man, like their dog, the dog leads the old man back to his house. Like, the dog wants to go home. He goes home. Old man follows. And along the way, you know, they fight. It's really like a cliche thing. The dog leads him back to the house. Apparently their house was in walking distance, but he had never seen this child before. I don't know. But the dog leads them back. The weirdest thing is, like, he starts attacking people to get to the child. He wants the child back. Old guy does. Which sounds fine. It sounds nice. Because obviously the parents are going to kill him, and they better be with the kidnapper guy. I guess that's a better life for her. I don't know. But then the old guy starts shooting at henchmen coming at him, right? There's 3 coming at him. He shoots 2 out of the 3. The one has him down, no bullets. He can't get him. He could kill him right then. He could kill this old man right then and there and end this whole movie. But he's on the dog side. So he's like, he shouldn't have left his dog behind. He shouldn't have tried to set the house on fire with the dog. I'm on your side. They're that way. Go get him. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm on the dog side too. Whole time I'm screaming, is the puppy okay? But this is all your friends are getting killed by this old man. And then he's just like 2 of his friends died right in front of him right then. And he was like, yeah, I'm on the dog side. And he shouldn't have left his dog in the house. So he let the old man go and told him exactly where he was. It's a weird concept. It's a weird twist. But that's what had happened. Alright, so once the dog-friendly guy lets the old man go to go kill everyone else that he knows, all of his other buddies and associates for this organ business apparently he's done with because he likes dogs, the old guy finds the parents about to do the transplant, the surgeon and the little kid strapped down on the table about to get killed. You know, they all pack up to go move the operation somewhere else. Surgeon's like, nah, this is too intense, I'm out. He kills, like, the dad kills the surgeon. I'm sorry, but if you're trying to save your wife's life by killing your daughter, why would you kill the one person that can do that for you? You could have just intimidated and be like, no, you're going to do it, you know? But instead, he just killed him. So, I don't know where he intended that to go. I mean, is it easy to find surgeons to do this kind of deal for you? I don't know, but you're just murdering the only one who was willing to do it. You could have just threatened him and he probably would have done it. I don't know. Anyways, so, the old man's killing the dad, they fight, blah, 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 blah. Old guy does the most famous line. It reminds me of, like, Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Like, I feel like this happens every time someone goes blind in a movie. He squishes his eyes out and he says, I want you to see what I see. That is the most overused, like, line. Like, you can predict it a mile away when someone does that. So I found that very cheesy. And then, you know, the dad dies, the mom dies, mom got shot accidentally and dies and whatever. And then the old man is stabbed and injured and he's bleeding out, last one alive in the room besides the kid. The kid's trying to save the old man. She's like, let me help you. And he's like, you already have. That is the most cheesy thing in the world. And he lets himself bleed out and die. And the little girl just walks out of the building and goes to a local shelter. No questions asked, mind you. There was a shelter, you know, she'd just seen one day, just riding with a friend ranger girl who died out of nowhere. Like, you know, old man dies, your real parents die, and she just walks down the street happy as hell to be at this random, like, shelter. I guess the shelter people aren't going to ask any questions. I mean, she even gives the girl, like, there's another little girl sitting on the porch. She's like, do you have room for more? One more? And the little girl's like, what's your name? And she gives the name the old man gave her, not a real one. I just can't with this movie, you guys. That's the end of the movie, by the way. Old dude's dead. There's not going to be a Don't Breathe 3 unless he magically comes back to life, which at this point could happen with this movie. I just feel like the first one was a hide and seek game with like a good twist. Like the turkey basting thing was a good twist. You know, as gross as it is, it's a good twist. The second one, first half of the movie, I'm thinking like, ooh, this is a child that came from something bad. And then it was a kidnap victim. I'm like, oh, whose side am I on? Then the parents, I'm like, oh, she should go back to her real parents even though they're killing people. Then they want to kill her. It's just, it just wasn't good, you guys. It just wasn't good. I'm sorry. I don't care. But, you know, that's what it is. If you guys are looking for better movies to watch, I'm sure I'll, you know, have some recommendations for you. I think the next movie I want to do like this is going to be like a B movie. I love really bad horror movies. I don't know. Hopefully, guys, I made sense when telling this story. I think I did. I don't really know. Let me know down below if this made any sense to you at all. I'm trying my best. I thought I'd try something new with this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day out there wherever you are. Bye.